Hello guys, here I have one of the scenario and the situation you can call. Here I have a situation that how can I make the inner section of the container span the full width across all devices and viewport using the single CSS solutions. So here I have created one basic structure of the container. Now let's understand the scenario. Here I need to reposition a specific image element from inside the container to slightly outside it bound, ensuring it remains perfectly centered within the hero section across all the screen size. To achieve a consistent design across a desktop, tablet and mobile view, I focused on managing the container layout, including its borderline and maintain visually harmony. I opted for a CSS grid structure to organize the inner content section by section, which made layout management more intuitive. However, using a grid alone was not enough. The design also required precise spacing on both left and right side with the borderline aligning. So, here across the row, additionally, the image need to fully touch on left edge of the screen on every viewport without breaking the layout. To solve this, I experimented with various CSS techniques to consistently left align the image while preserving the overall structure. The first step was building the foundational layout to support this adjustment. So let's start with it that here I have created one basic layout. So let's implement the layout foundation of the structure. Here I have one of the thing is the grid structure which I have prepared inside of the container. Alongside with I have added the container area and I divided the hero section into grid rows. Each row was responsible for handling one type of content. For example, title in the first row, image in the second row, and supporting text in the third row. Something like that. This grid based approach made it easy to handle alignment, spacing, and responsive scaling. It also gave me a flexibility to experiment with individual row without affecting the rest of the layout at this stage. The structure was clean and stable, but I need to go further to solve the full width image problem. So here I have tried one of the most competitive solution with this. Here I have added margin minus left from the column span box of the image area. So what I have done, I have added one of the minus solution with this. Here you can see I have choose the fixed container box area for that, and along with that I have added some precise 100% view screen and divided into the view part. So here you can see that how image gets stretched from the view itself. Now let's cover this image in small height. Currently, I don't want this structure like that, but I want to see that how it should get affected with my layout. So, in order to that, I have to first of all get rid out my image in all these screen and viewport area. So, if I increase my view screen port, it automatically get adjusted, but it's not something like what we looking for it. So here I want to if to fit image in the view area as well. So this first attempt was not good for us to get involved all this. Now the second attempt with the margin left but not in the minus structure. So what I have tried, I have choose view width, viewport width, which allow me to get done things in the correct way. So if you see the difference between both of things, if I add this structure, my image looks too zoom mode in the zoom mode. And when I switch these things with the second attempt, which covered viewport of the uh, container area, a screen area, and I divided into percentage area as well. So this looks perfect to me. In order to that, now I have to achieve here another two things. For those things, get me a partial solution, or we can say around 60% of output get matched my expectation. However, if you look closely at the image, it still appear cropped on the left side of the screen. To address this, I need to fine tune the image position in certain areas. So in this code, I have already applied CSS properties called object fit cover and object position center, but they didn't fully resolve the issue. For that, I have to be used to adjust some height or width in the area to get perfect view of the image. So for that, I will gonna use aspect ratio property using CSS to maintain the correct properties of an image or a frame, ensuring it adapts smoothly to the viewport dimension. For that, you have to be at aspect ratio. You can divide them by 16 by 9. So for that, you can use default class of tailwind called aspect video, which allow me to see my image in perfect ratio. If you see in my code, I have removed the my full height with, I mean I have uh, uh, removed height which I have defined manually with some fixed value. Now my height has an my image has aspects height based on screen resolution. So this seems working fine now with all the way in the view screen. If you can see this in order to that, the next thing is my to get achieved the full structure of the view. So what we have done, we have used first of all margin left structure, then after I have chosen viewport, or it's called a viewport with solution to handle this situation, and alongside to choose individual height structure for the image, I have chosen aspect ratio to resolve these things. So this will help you to fix such kind of issue, and I have achieved my 99% of the expected output by applying a different redefined solution. The only remaining adjustment was the image height and was I modified by fine tuning the aspect ratio, as you can see it in the example code, to make it adaptive seamlessly across all the viewport. And here you can see my final output with all the way in the different viewport. So it will give you a perfect output for mobile, desktop and the tablet version. And in this way you can arrange the structure. The conclusion of this solution to experiment taught me a few important lessons about CSS layout design. First of all, negative margins are temporary but usually break responsiveness. Second is viewport until are powerful, especially when you want to implement a span the full width of the screen. And properties like object fit and object position, also aspect ratio are essential tool for controlling how images behave inside layout. By combining this technique, I arrived at a single CSS solution that works consistently across desktop, tablet, and mobile device. It keeps the layout clean, reusable, and scalable for further projects. If you are struggling with making intersection full width, remember the best solution is often a combination of small adjustment rather than the one single property. Thank you so much.